Hey, what's good, guys? It's your boy Proclaim Truth back in this thing. Just got done with a workout, so I just wanted to drop a quick video. As I was running, I was thinking, if I'm gonna do this series, I need to set some foundations. And one of the things we have to understand, especially being, me speaking for myself, especially being a black man in America, one of the things, I think one of the most important things that I was able to comprehend and understand was the reality of the type of country, the type of system, and just the type of mechanisms and the way that, and understanding of why things run the way that they run and why things are the way that they are within this country that we call the USA. All right, so I'll begin. We all know the history of the U.S., right? We all know about, how Boston Tea Party and all these, guys threw over this tea in the Boston Harbor, blah, blah, blah. Redcoats came, American Revolution, blah, blah, blah. We know that part, the fight for independence, right? All right, so before that, it was still under colonial rule from England, right? And if we rewind a little bit past that, we get into the transatlantic slave trade. All right, so that's where I want to start at. I know this could be a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but hey, man, we're gonna keep it real on this channel. That's just how it is. We're gonna speak, straight fast. Call it square. So with that being said, all right. So what happened during the transatlantic slave trade? All right, so you had a group of people, Middle Eastern people, who already had a predominant slave trade going on. This was known as the Islamic slave trade. It was already a thing, boom, boom, boom. Meanwhile, the European countries, they were still, it was like the latter end of the medieval years, Renaissance era, blah, 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 still some intercontinental fighting amongst them. So at the end of the day, it's all about money. Money makes the world go around. And of course, money is not the root of all evil, but the love of money is. So that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. So, all right, so you got these Middle Easterners running the Islamic slave trade. Not even just Middle Easterners, a lot of North Africans too. And they were selling these slaves, all across the Middle East, blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, Europeans kind of got, word of it, like, hey, where are you getting this commodity from? And all at the same time as this is going on, these European countries are, circumnavigating the earth, searching for like new expansion. It's like, like I said, it's the Renaissance era. So it's all about new ideas, new technology, new exploration, new discoveries, so on and so forth. So all these countries are competing like, hey man, we gotta go here and find this stuff. Hey, we gotta go here and find that stuff. And then, they're colonizing these different places. Hey, we mark this spot, we mark this spot. And once they colonize it because there's a resource there. And we all know, once you have a resource somewhere, you need a man pool to pull that resource. So, they had indentured service doing that, yada, 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 yada. So, with meanwhile, the Islamic slave trade is booming, right? Booming. Bah, 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 bah. Christopher Columbus, go over there and rediscover America. Yeah, I did say rediscover. That's a video a topic for another time. So he go over there, rediscover America, come back. Hey, we can do something over here. Whole time, all right, let's bring some people over here to settle. They're doing that. About, a couple of times they tried it out. What's the place in Virginia? I think where the people disappear. It's like a big mystery. Well, anyway, when they were trying this out in the early 1600s or whatever, the first couple of times I think failed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but something to that effect. But by the time that they did get it, they realized hey man, we shouldn't be the ones doing the work over here. Hey, what's that going on? I know Portugal had, those other countries had something going on. They were they know where we can get some cheap land, some cheap manpower or whatever. So we need to look into that. So thus the transatlantic slave trade was born. So it was those same slave drivers of the Islamic slave trade began selling to these imperialists, these people that's pretty much after big business coming from Europe, like Portugal, France, England, so on and so forth. They were just driving over to the West Coast and just picking up manpower here, boom, here, boom, here, boom, and thus racism was born. Racism was born once the European countries, in the Renaissance era, the church ruled. So the Vatican, they were like, their gut instinct told them like, hey, using people that kind of just got sold to us. They weren't prisoners of war, not of ours. Hey, Mr. Priest, Bishop, Pope, man, is it okay if we have slaves? And once he blessed off on it, ooh, boy, Europe went crazy. So all the European countries started racing to find new resources, you feel me? Started racing. And that's where the word race come from. It was a race to inhabit the rest of the unknown world. Using free, I'm not gonna say free, but using African, slave labor. All right, so I say that to say this, that the original motive wasn't because of skin color, but because of, a lack of, like we look down on this person or this and that. It was simply because of money. It was free labor. So, like I said, their love of money is the root of all evil. So that could, fast forward, that grew into something extremely what it didn't, intentionally turn out to be. And it just got, worse and worse and worse. We all know the atrocities of child slavery. And we'll do a video on that in the future. So going back to, all right, so, transatlantic slave trade. Here we are in America now. Let's go post Revolutionary War. England came, because why did England come? Why did they even come to try to fight? They want that money, you feel me? Hey, America, like, we need that, you feel me? Y'all got y'all slaves, you got your rice, you got your tobacco. Hey, I need that. But America like, nah, pimp. Like, we got this now, man. Y'all can just, we got this. You gotta come take it. And then you throw my tea off a boat, but I'm about to come see about you. So, the goddamn red coats came across the ocean, yada, yada, yada. Bang, bang, did a little thing. America had its independence, 17, somewhere around that era. I don't want to quote the year right off the top of my head. I might get it wrong, but, whenever the Declaration of Independence was signed. Boom. So, Declaration of Independence signed. America is now an independent country with slaves. With slaves. Not saying this is where the atrocities start, but this is where capitalism for America starts. Capitalism is America. And I need everybody to understand that. Capitalism is America. So with capitalism, they don't care. Like in India, how they have the caste system, like picture a pyramid. Like you got the worker class at the bottom, and then you got like a class above that, then you got the nobles, and then you got the kings and royalty and all that stuff. That is essentially capitalism. But in the caste system, you're not able, if you're born into that system, you're not able to like transverse up or down. But the beauty of capitalism is that you can. However, in this era, around the early, 20th century? No, that's early 19th century. Late 19th century. Because they had slaves, black slaves, not even talk, they told the indentured servants, the indentured servants, they were white. So eventually they left, they kind of, because of slaves, they kind of, dwindled and went off, immersed into the populace or something. Because they had this slave labor, they automatically fell to that lower caste system of capitalism. You feel what I'm saying? So, you do the math. From there, fast forward to today, America has always had that, lower class to like spring the rest of the capitalist, the capitalist society for. And it was just, I mean, from a business perspective, it was just so efficient to the point where it was just best to keep them there. From like, if we're talking business wise, like money wise, feelings aside, hey, I need you down there. Hey, you some hard workers, I just need you down there. Like, it's too convenient. Yeah. So we, you're strong, you this and that. You know how to do this. You brought all this stuff from Africa. You're good. I don't need you getting into the details, like the management stuff. Let us handle this, but all the brute labor, y'all can handle that. And that went on for time. And then from that, it, unfortunately, because of that, that's how the negative, that's how like the American racism was born, like that kind of racism, because a certain class of people was, because of capitalism, was forced to stay in the system was developed to keep this class in this class as long as possible, as much as possible. But over the years, as all things do, it kind of deteriorated. And we still see, remnants of it today. I mean, we can just keep it real. We just gonna keep it real. But like I said, I think that's the gist of it. Fast forward to today, the capitalist system still stands, and to be honest, it's poor people. You know what I mean? We're gonna call a spade a spade. It's poor people, the middle class, upper middle class, and then rich people, I guess, all of that stuff, all that good stuff. And the people that feel that poor class are predominantly the people that was that original slave pool that came over, like capitalist society. They don't give a damn like who feel it, but it's just hard for the people that originally filled it for so long to get out of it, because that's how the country was built from a capitalist standpoint, of course. But unfortunately, it had those aspects, and it's so hard to get away from that because it's so intertwined within the inner mechanisms and structure, foundation, cornerstones of this country. So with that being said, like I stated earlier, you can traverse this system, this caste system. I'm not saying it's easy. Like I said, there's still some remnants and everything out here. It don't matter if you black, white, green, yellow, or potato, don't matter. If your ass is poor, you at the bottom. You at the bottom. Capitalist society gonna eat you up just like it eat everybody else up. So, that's what I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if you poor, you're poor. If being poor was a race, capitalists would hate poor people. Because it drives everything else, guys. It drives everything else. You feel what I'm saying? And unfortunately, and don't make me out to be a bad person when I say this, if we looking at it, capitalism has its pros and cons, you feel me? I'm not saying, not saying go out and be a socialist or a dictator or none of that, but we have the ability to come here poor. Well, I ain't gonna say we, but people can come from, foreign countries poor, come here, amass a lot of wealth. Also, people here that was already here can amass a lot of wealth and propel as well. But keeping it real, we all know that's not as easy as it sounds. But majority of people, they're poor, lower class, middle class. That's a majority of working class America. It's capitalist society. So if you want to advance in this capitalist society, you need to transverse that system. And I have a couple videos coming in the future that, will give you some tips and pointers on just how to do that, So I hope this was able to put a little perspective into your mind. Not trying to change your point of view or anything. I'm just here to, plant the seed. Do your own research, This coming out the years and years of research, years and years of research. it is what it is, you know. So, and when you have something designed, when you have a system designed like this, it's almost like chess. You know, chess is a systematic game. The system don't care the input. Yeah, it don't care about the input, long as it's a certain type. If it's a, you know, it requires this type. Like, let me see. You know how the battery got the terminal or whatever. It might be a bad analogy or whatever, but if I got pluses and minuses, in order for this mechanism to start, I need a plus. So whatever has a plus, I would take it in, you know, and devour it or whatever. This is the capitalist machine. However, you know, blah, 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 blah. All right. So yeah, I think I hit all the points I wanted to hit. Again, man, it's your boy Proclaim Truth, man. I'm happy to be here. And again, you know, shoot, don't stone the messenger, just accept the truth. You feel me? Hey, if you like this video, or even if you dislike it, hey, just, you know, give it thumbs up, thumbs down, and share and subscribe. Yeah, we out.